Hi, my name is Gonzalez, and today I will be giving a speech about the tremendous genocide in Darfur, Sudan. In February 2013, a terrible genocide started to take place in the western part of Sudan, Darfur. You may not know much about this genocide, but today I will inform you of the suffering that families in Sudan had to go through. This genocide was carried out by the armed militia called the Janjaweed, which used extreme violence in order to cause terror all across Darfur. The Janjaweed came to villages on horseback or camelbacks, showing superiority in destroying homes and buildings, shot men, and raped women and children. The Janjaweed looted the villages and then burned them. Untold thousands were murdered or raped. Hundreds of thousands faced a slow death of starvation and disease. The American Union was only able to offer limited troops to protect the people. Peacekeepers in the region were particularly vulnerable. 7 peacekeepers from the UN and the AU were killed in ambush, and the African Union force was struggling to protect itself. The Janjaweed consisted of Muslim Arab Sudanese citizens and aimed to terminate the Muslim black Sudanese. Not only was the Janjaweed motivated by racial hatred, but money as well. Although most of the rapid recruited men were not able to trace the source of money from where they were paid, it was later known that their money came from the Khartoum government. The Khartoum government was an Arab-centric regime which ruled by force and relied on religious fundamentalism in order to maintain its power. There had been strong evidence that all the generals, intelligence ministers, and the press of the government were controlled by one man, al-Bashir. As you can see here, this is what al-Bashir looked like. The Janjaweed militia called him directly for instructions. This al-Bashir ruled government had launched a campaign of genocide against non-Arabs because these communities had challenged Khartoum's authoritarian rule. Even though the Janjaweed was supported by the government, it was completely separate from the army of Sudan. In the presence of ethnic cleansing, the United Nations Security Council met in the year of 2005 and debated how they should intervene, but the United Nations was slow to act. They made excuses like the African Union is handling it, or if we attack the president of Sudan, it will jeopardize any peace talks that we can make in the future with them. In the end, the United Nations decided to find out more about what was happening in Sudan, which was delayed a whole year and did not do anything about it. After an investigation, the International Commission of Inquiry concluded that the government of Sudan had not passed any type of law or policy against the genocide. They realized that the international offenses had been occurring in Darfur and declared that it was happening in Darfur was worse than the genocide. The United States individually took the first step into stopping the tragic ethnic cleansing in Darfur that Darfur had been suffering from. The United States passed the Darfur Peace and Accountability Act of 2006. The act asked for the African Union peacekeeper force in Darfur to expand and give it to the African Union a stronger mandate and more support. It also made the government of Sudan come into an international criminal court to bring justice to those guilty of the genocide and war crimes in Darfur. The act was passed by the House and the Senate of the United States and signed by President George Bush in October 13, 2006. This finally ended the genocide, and countless families in Darfur were saved. Thank you.
You know how many times